So coming to Boston, I thought I would know everything. I considered myself a Bostonian. I mean, I've lived 40 minutes south of here my entire life. When people ask me where I'm from, I start with the truth. I'm from Norton, Mass. And then when they ask me where that is, I immediately change my answer to Boston. A lot of people, when they first get to Boston, fear the idea of stepping onto a single one of those squeaky, loud, obnoxious trains, but I considered myself an expert. I've been here for the Red Sox games, and I get goosebumps when I hear Sweet Caroline blasting over the speakers at Fenway. I've rode the commuter rail to get to some of the many, many Super Bowl parades, and I've even rode on the T when it was packed shoulder to shoulder with people on St. Patty's Day. I could easily handle a 30-minute commute on the Green Line 2 days a week. On the first day of internships, I was humbled, to say the least. I started off my morning by waking up 3 hours before I even had to think about walking out the front door of my apartment. I always think, okay, it's gonna take me a half an hour to get there. But you also have to plan for traffic. So let's go with 45 minutes. But then you also have to plan for the mechanical issues. And you also have to plan for the train derailing. So basically, I gave myself 2 hours for a 30-minute commute that morning. It was a freezing January morning waiting at the 7-Eleven across from the Harvard Ave stop. I remember trying to figure out which direction the inbound train was, and just as I peeked up from my phone, I noticed a train pulling out of the stop. I had missed my first train of the morning. As trains do, another one pulled into the stop shortly after, and I figured missing my first train of the day would be the worst of it. I was sure I knew which stop I was getting off of, and Siri was sure too. I stepped off at the stop, waiting for the next train to switch from the B line to the E line. Only it never came that morning. A generous employee of the T approached me and asked if I needed help. I was probably beet red at this point because I'm the type of person that will walk a mile. No, I'd crawl a mile before I ever admitted that I needed any type of help. But I swallowed my pride and I confided in the employee. I explained where I was trying to go, and I learned I needed to step off at that I stepped off at the completely wrong stop and I needed to get back on. Great. 0-2 with the Green Line, I thought. I'm sure they noticed the fear in my eyes once I realized I needed to get back onto the train. They asked me exactly where I was going and when I needed to be there. We had both agreed it made more sense to walk to my internship. That was an easy 25 minutes than getting back onto the train that morning. And believe it or not, I still made it with an hour to spare. I could not believe how cocky I was walking into this experience. I thought I'd be the encyclopedia of all things Boston, the person everyone could refer to as their tour guide. Humbled but educated, I learned from it. It is always okay to ask for help. It is okay to not have the answers to everything. I learned so much from that first commute to and from Boston. I learned which was the inbound train, what stop to get off of, and finally where that bell was to request a stop when riding the train outbound. I never would have learned these things if I didn't stop and ask someone, if I didn't accept the help offered to me, and if I didn't look up from my phone to notice the world around me. All you have to do is be willing to take that first step onto that squeaky, loud, obnoxious train. Thank you.